All right, and we're back. Where to go from there? From that epic story of beating up three, it's probably South Philly guys
They may have been South Philly guys.
Yeah, it's
or Delco. Who knows?
Could have
Well,
been Delco.
if you want one more, like, I think it's a story I tell that's your story, but I tell it from your perspective, not like it's my own, but where I don't even know what it was, if it was New Year's Day or something, but it's the day after like a big party night in the city, and you're out and you're walking around and I think you're trying to get back to your car, and you're walking through like the neighborhood. And a guy stops you to ask directions, be like, hey, which way to the nearest subway platform? And you're like, oh, it's like a block back this way and to the left. And he goes, oh, cool, thank you. And you're like, no problem. You both turn around and go your separate ways. And then from behind you, you just hear, hey, man, hey, 1 sec. And you like turn around, and this guy looks at you and goes, you want to go in the alley back there and jerk each other off?
Very casual.
And you're, oh, it's your story, but I'm telling it. Like,
No, tell it.
Like,
you're telling it accurately.
I tell it all the time because I think it's so funny. When you're just like, no, man, like, yeah, I'm flattered, but the thanks, but no thanks.
I said, no, thank you. And he was like, all right, your loss. And walked away.
Like see, that's what I like about gay people. Like that is such a genuine like interaction. Like imagine if it was like dudes and chicks were like that. Chick turns around like, oh, your hands got. You want to go fuck in the alley real fast?
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They really don't. This was not New Year's Eve. I was working for a small marketing company, and I was doing, literally I was doing like market research, having surveys filled out on an iPad, to get data to understand the Philadelphia gay scene's perception of Atlantic City. Because Atlantic City used to be a real hotspot for the gays, for the gay community, right? And then everyone started like the shitty city. The city shut the whole thing down. They were like really fucking horrible to the gay community. This was like in the 80s maybe or something, and they were like, "Fuck you, we're gonna go to what's it called? Beach." I think they went to Rehoboth, and then also there's another one, and it's in Jersey. Oh man, people
in Jersey.
Yeah.
North or South Jersey? You like
It's North Jersey.
Like Seaside Heights? Like one of them?
Central. Anyway.
Like Lincoln Beach? Isn't that a
No, and it's like one of those places where like you
Ventnor,
have to
AC, further up.
further up.
All right.
North Jersey, I think.
Yeah.
Something beach. Anyway, they started going there, and it's gonna come to me. And Atlantic City was like, we want the gays back.
Everybody's money's green. We don't
Yeah,
care what
well,
you
here's
do.
the thing: the gay money is even greener because they have more discretionary income, and they tend to have more discretionary income. They're like a wonderful demographic. You want them.
Yeah.
You want them to want you, and so that same night, there's like I'm in Woody's. I'm in the trenches. I'm in Woody's. I'm going up to people, introducing myself, giving them free, do AC sunglasses to take the survey. And this guy goes, this is very raunchy. Can I say it?
Say whatever you want.
Say whatever you want. We can edit whatever you want.
Yeah,
He
right.
goes, he's like, can I lick my own cum out of your asshole?
That sounds like a great line.
And I go,
I feel like that's a line that works
No,
for,
thank
like, in the
you.
gay community. Like, I think that's something that, like, that's a home run, I feel like, a lot of the time.
and his friend overheard him say this and like, apologized profusely. And this guy was really drunk. And I was just like, no, thanks. And they're like, oh my God, like that was the raunchiest thing that's ever been said to me in my life. And it was during this evening that I was doing all this research that I realized what women have to go through.
Guys are fucking gross.
Guys are fucking gross. And like, I was being stared at so hard, like so hard, and like just inappropriate shit. I think people were pinching my ass, and like, look, like I don't give a fuck. Have your fun, but also like, you know, respect my boundaries. But I was like, you don't even give a shit about who I am. You don't. I'm a human being over here, just like you, and you're looking at me like I'm a piece of meat, truly. And I was like, damn, dude, women have to deal with this shit from straight men all the time.
And, you know, you got the point of view where you might fuck them up. You stand a chance where women are like, most of the time,
and I can
dominated.
defend myself, right? Like, I can't be raped very easily. It would be tough to rape me. But, yeah, right? And, like, that's fucking scary, man. You're walking down an alleyway and, like, you know, and it's a real thing. It's...
No, true.
It's scary.
Yeah, for sure.
But pretty hilarious story.
Yeah, right. What a line from that dude.
Damn.
Lick my cum out of your ass.
Maybe we'll call that the episode.
Yeah. Man.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Right, so you got your little
I got my
tablet,
like fancy notepad. This thing is cool.
I started writing this down when me and you were talking.
Oh yeah,
on the phone. Just
out
like,
there in California. We
out there
didn't
in
even get to
California.
like you're living. in California.
Like we barely even touched that yet.
Yeah, so
Like, we haven't even got to you going to Chicago before
yeah,
California.
Yeah. So I can tell you how I got to Chicago.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay,
we got the notepad out.
Yeah, I got the notepad.
But yeah, you called me to be like, hey, are we gonna do this podcast when I'm home or not? And it was like, fine. And I'm a talker, so
you are, yeah.
I'm driving around like just talking to you on the phone. Like I have no reason to like be like, hey, I gotta get out of here. And it was like an hour, and you were chilling in the hammock, like telling me how great it was. And I was kind of like driving around like, fuck this dude.
How can you not a little bit? It doesn't matter how much love you have in your heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on, asshole. And I do it all the time. I'm so guilty of it because it's been such a long journey to arrive at where I'm at. Like. At my place.
When you find those things, you gotta take like my new thing is number one, I think I'm the only person in the world that prefers to talk on the phone instead of text message. I despise text messages.
In a small group.
Just call me.
Yeah, let's just
And
talk. Figure it out real time.
And to like narrow that even more, I think I'm the only person that gets excited when I see a phone number that I don't recognize. Usually because it's spam calls and I'm gonna fuck with these people. Like,
yeah.
So my I've said this before. My go-to is like answer a random phone number and just breathe heavy till the person hangs up. But
It's funny.
My new thing is now when I'm talking to somebody on the phone that I can tell is calling me from a call center where they're in a little cubicle in some shitty office. They're not close to a window at all. And every time I'm talking to these people, my goal is to waste as much of their time as possible because I'm never going to buy anything.
That's your payback.
Yeah. It's just, you call me, this is what you deal
justice.
with.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to people and inevitably it gets to the point of, well, what do you do for a living? I work for, delivery company. And they're like, oh, you in a warehouse, the office? I was like, no, I drive a truck. Like I'm out in the nice, like going around and they go, oh, well, how do you like it? I go, dude, it's the best. I'm so happy to have this job where I get to be outside. And especially today, it's such a beautiful day out where I am that it's just sunny and like, it's so nice. There's a little bit of a breeze. Like I can feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. It's great.
Oh, there's a baby bird right there.
And then I hit him. I go, and it's just like, and I don't know what I would do if I had to sit like in a cubicle in an office somewhere. That just sounds like death. I can't stand thinking about it. And just to hear the people get demoralized on the other side of the phone is just like, that's my little thing to perk me up in the middle of a day.
Man, I want to get out of this call center so bad too, man. I got kids. I got to put food on the table. I don't want a sweet ass.
And I bring the darkness.
This is like, yeah, how's your day going? Really good. Well, maybe it shouldn't be so good because you're in a fucking cubicle and I'm driving a truck and it's a beautiful day.
Yeah, don't call me.
Yeah, don't call me anymore. I'm going to make you sad.
Well, yeah,
Spread the word.
I know. Well, everybody
I'm going to make you hate your life.
If you know me, do call me. Don't text me. But if you're
Yeah.
someone that's trying to get me to buy something or like get my information to scam me, please like call me and waste your own time.
I wonder if they have a list of like, like I'm not calling that guy back just because I don't want to. Because
What if they send that number to somebody they don't like in the office?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this guy's on the
Yeah,
tipping point.
send them my
Boom,
way.
send him the cab.
It does not matter who they are. You call me like that, you're getting 45 minutes of your day wasted.
It's just a terrible job, man. I feel
That's so
bad
much
for
fun.
him.
That's really fun. I'm gonna go get my pen real quick. It's just right over there. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
hey,
I'm not gonna take long.
Okay.
Go for it.
It'll
Yeah,
be 4.5 seconds.
we're timing you now.
1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. Okay.
Well, you liar. But so that was, and it was actually because I went to that union game, so somebody from the union called me to like trying to sell me more tickets. And I was like, oh man, you're.
I got these free ones. They worked out pretty good.
Yeah. And that
Also,
was,
it's soccer.
yeah, but I enjoy it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, the guy goes, he was like, oh, who do you go with? I was like, oh, like my aunts, uncles, like my dad and my like wife, like there's always a whole crew of us. Like, he was, oh yeah, like group rates are this, and it's just like I'm just stringing this. I was like, here's my email, like hit me at that, and then like I'll be back in touch, and like I'm never gonna call you again,
You
dude.
gave that guy a lead for the funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the game. It's not even so much. It should be about this, but it's not really even about making the final sale. It's about moving you on to the next stage in the purchase cycle. And if you're not ready to purchase now, I want to nurture you until you're ready to purchase.
I know, and I get that.
Yeah.
And I know that the next time I go to get tickets, I'm going to do what I did last time and go online and buy them from the automated thing. I'm not going through this person.
And the thing that sucks about all of that shit, because sales sucks. I did it for a while, and it's just, it works though. Like you create your funnel, you attack your leads, and you make money.
Yeah.
And you make money for yourself and the company. And that's the worst part. It fucking works.
It does work. But it's a numbers game, and you have to be like super organized and on it, and you have to have a
All
good
the things I'm
system.
not. Yep.
And you have to follow through with your system. I would have
It's like the tennis system.
400 to-do items in Salesforce that are probably some administrator is still like filing away. Just like to-do items that I never checked off, which was to follow up with people. But it's like tough because you follow up and it's like
It goes nowhere.
It goes nowhere.
And it goes
It keeps going
and
nowhere.
You poured so much. Oh man, I thought this one was boom, 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 and then you get that one. And you're like, holy shit, it worked.
It's like there's an acting lesson there. There's an audition lesson there. It's like because you're going to be rejected so much, and it's not because there's something wrong with you or you are bad or not like amazing. It's because like just timing. There was one person that that maybe looked just a little more like what the director had in mind, or a friend of someone, or just you weren't your best that day. Life is so, man, it's like it seems like right when everything is just really, really cruising, that's when the next thing happens, and that's okay. But it's like you gotta like you have to keep going, and you can't stop. You have to keep going because that next big account is like your next phone call. It's your next it's your next audition. It's your next opportunity. And how many times do we stop like 6 inches short of gold?
Me every time.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely 6 inches short.
Yeah. It reminds me of I can't wait to listen to the Joey Diaz podcast with the dude from The Walking Dead, Punisher.
Oh, yeah, John Barenthal.
Yeah, he seems like a fucking great dude, like regular, real dude.
He's a genuine person.
That just hit and then boom, just keeps fucking doing great.
Yeah. He has that new series on HBO Max where he's playing a Baltimore police officer.
All right. That's probably what he's promoting.
I've seen the trailer for it. I haven't checked it out.
His character makes me feel icky, and that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
He was fucking great in The Wolf of Wall Street. Like, just fucking.
He was in Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
What was he?
He was like the third. Like you've got was it Wolf of Wall Street or the other movie with the gun running with Seth.
Rogen?
Fuck that up. No, it was the gun running. They were selling guns and ammo.
Yeah, it's Seth Rogen and
Not Seth Rogen.
yeah,
Seth from fuck. I totally fucked
and
that up. Shit.
the little fat
Are
guy.
you
What's his
ashamed of
name?
yourself?
I wanted to say the fat guy, but then you hear all the press and like now he's like kind of fit and he doesn't like it really hurts his feelings.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
So I didn't want to say that.
Oh,
But I
from
guess I'm a fat guy. I can say that.
what is it? From yep.
He's in Superbad.
Superbad,
Superbad.
yes.
Superbad.
Superbad.
His name is Jonah.
Jonah
Hill.
Hill.
Jonah
Boom.
Hill. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill and
thought
the
it was-
other guy that's not really a well-known actor, but they were selling
James
guns.
Franco.
Might have been James
No.
Franco. I don't think
From
so.
not from
no.
Superbad.
No.
No. James Franco.
He wasn't even in.
Yeah, no. Anyway, it was like him and another guy. They were running drugs and making a ton of money, and he was in that movie that I mistaked for Wolf of Wall
Oh no,
Street.
it's Miles Teller. I think that's the
Yes,
guy. Yeah,
that's the guy.
he's from Philly.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
He's
that.
a good actor.
That's cool. Who's
Miles Teller.
Yeah, can you show me a picture?
Yeah, absolutely. He's like one of those. I think was he in Ready Player One, or that's another guy that kind of looks like him.
I think that might be him.
Miles Teller.
Yeah, he's like a younger guy. He's been in some stuff. But
Did
he's
he
not
get
like,
a nose job? Yeah, that guy's from Philly.
Yeah,
I thought that mofo
yeah,
looked
big,
familiar.
Big Eagles fan.
I feel like maybe I've seen him around. Do you know who I'm pretty sure? Well, I know it was. Pretty sure it was him.
War Dogs.
Dude from the boys from Jersey, the brothers from Jersey that have a music group. The Jonah brothers.
Hill? Or
The Jonas Brothers?
Jonas Brothers.
Are they from Jersey?
They're from Jersey, and I think they're big Eagles fans because I went to. Here's another little side story for you. I went to an Eagles game with this girl who was like one of the former Philadelphia Police Commissioner's granddaughters, and she had season tickets because of who her grandfather was, and really, really sweet seats. I met her at a Flyers game. I was with other inebriators, and they were like, go talk to that girl. And I was like, I'll go start a conversation with her. I'm not like going to hit on this girl.
I remember this.
Uh-huh.
I remember this night.
This was a phase.
Because then, you were just like, you took the subway back, like with. Oh no, that's a different chick you met at the Flyers. Because remember, there was like. You were at the game.
I think
with
it was
people,
her. Did
and
I go
then,
hang
like,
out with them afterwards?
yeah, like
because we were
you-
both going back to the city.
Yes. Yeah.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so she was getting beers and the Eagles were losing. And like me, I'm an assistant coach when I'm at a game. And I'm a positive motherfucker. So when all of the Eagles fans are like, you fucking suck, Wentz, get your everyone's just like so aggressive and mean to our own guys. Like that doesn't help Philadelphia. It doesn't help. Would that motivate you? No, it doesn't.
probably
It doesn't.
not.
They're human beings. They're just like really talented, really hardworking, gifted human beings that are good at this thing. Anyway, so I'm like, I start talking up the boys. And I got good seats, so I'm pretty sure they can hear me. And the place is quiet because all the air is out of the building because the other team just did something. They come back. The next run, Wentz marches them down the field. They score. This girl's still getting beers. She comes back. She's like, oh, my God, they scored a touchdown. I'm like, yeah, it was awesome. You missed it. It was like right here in the corner, like right in front of me. It was amazing. She's like, I can't watch the game. We have to leave. I'm like, what? We have to leave because I wasn't here when they scored.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You have to leave.
You
I
have to
was
leave.
here.
I was here, so I think maybe we shouldn't mess that up. She's like, you're right.
Oh shit.
I'm going to go to Xfinity. I'm going to watch the game there. You stay here. I'm like, I will do my job. At your service.
Keep marching this
Damn.
team to a win.
So we won that game. Oh, and so anyway, the whole reason that I brought this up is because one of the Jonas Brothers, he did the Righteous Gemstones episode not too long ago.
I'm only 3 episodes in.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second.
He's gonna
season
come
yet.
up. He's gonna come up. He's friends with like the millionaire couple that's starting the
hotel,
the church ranch resort.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I look over because when I'm at a game, like I feel like this is bigger than me. I don't give a fuck about. I'm not gonna get in my own head about what I look like right now. I'm just here for the game. I'm here for the W.
Yeah.
And I look over, and I swear he gave me like a, fuck yeah. And that's the story. That's all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it was even him. No, I think it was him. I recognized the face. It was eyes. It looked like eye fucking just a little bit, but I was like, it felt more of like a, all right.
He saw what I did.
Rock
he
on.
knows.
He's
I want to
yeah.
lick my own comment if your asshole.
Oh, different story.
There it is.
Yeah, full circle.
That's what that guy was trying to do to your asshole.
So you got a notebook.
I got a notebook.
What is it?
So this is all right. This is the
Our product.
this is the best. This is the best investment I've ever made in my life. And it's so simple. And that's why it's the best thing that's ever happened to me, because I'm a creative. I'm a writer. I have a crazy brain, right? Imagination.
I think we're all learning that, yeah.
And I'm not very organized. I'm dyslexic, which is AKA like nonlinear. I'm a nonlinear thinker. Einstein, Jobs, Henry Ford, like some of the greatest inventors of our day have been dyslexic. And it is because of this nonlinear thinking that makes us like able to solve problems in a unique way. But also for writing and reading, my brain has to do work to sort of do a linear translation to turn. We all have this thing where we turn, concepts and ideas into language. And and then we use our language to communicate those concepts and ideas. And for someone that has a nonlinear mind, we just have to work a little bit harder to do the, like, it has to be one thing after another, right? Like even the letters, like writing it out. Anyway, what was I just talking about? Get me back on track here. My book. So this is basically just, I was in Chicago and I'm writing all these notes. I started writing a script like during the pandemic. And I'm like just using tons of notebooks and little like little pasties and pads. And I'm losing stuff. And I have a section of my notebook for my acting class, whatever. And I'm like, it is 2020. Why don't I have just like a digital version of a notebook where everything is? Like that's what I need instead of all this like paper everywhere. And then the paper gets dusty and it's just like horrible. Anyway, I started searching for it and I found this. And this is the Remarkable 2 tablet. And it's just a digital notebook. But it's like, so
you get multiple pages, multiple like
it's like
sections you can save put everything. And it's just for writing.
I have my scripts on here now. So like this is the layout for my scene that I'm working on. I think this is from the play Closer.
Okay.
James Marber, 1997. Interesting fact is that I believe Clive Owen played the role of my character when it debuted in London. Anyway, so this is just like the Remarkable tablet, and I feel like I'm like actually trying to pitch this thing right now, but like basically, I can take anything, any PDF, anything that I want, any script, and I can bring it into my tablet, and I can. Like I work on my lines. I have like my notes in here on my scripts, like on stuff that roles that I'm working on. I can easily like that. Because what happens is that idea sparks something else. And it's like, I don't have to go for something else. So then I can just close out and then jump over to like my Wandering John folder. And then I'm like, oh yeah, boom, 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 John. And now I just like, that's where that is. And everything is always, as long as I have my Remarkable, I have like everything that, all of my creative shit everywhere. And I don't get notifications. There's no color. It's black and white. And it feels like I'm writing on a piece of paper. And I can choose different like marker points and types. I can draw something pretty if I want. And so this thing was like $800.
Damn.
With like the, you know, to get the
best
pen
version
with
of
the
it.
eraser,
Yeah.
and
Nice
and
leather,
yeah.
you know.
Anyway,
wraps.
I'm gonna let you now
Well, either way,
write with it.
I was gonna say, well, it looked like you had some kind of notes for us. Is why you got it out in the
So I
first place.
imagine
Right.
this takes your crazy crazy mind where you'd have post-its and this over here, like one of those police things.
Yep.
And it just puts it in this nice little area where
Yeah.
you can separate it.
And
it
if
doesn't
I'm-
look like a crazy person,
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And you just come on a podcast and like pitch this thing and
Yeah.
just look like a crazy person doing it that way.
Well,
I know. Well,
no, it looks like
it works for me.
it looks like it's really a useful tool for him.
Yeah, so I mean, here's the list. Like, here's the list that I wrote down. And like,
Yeah,
here.
just go through
All
it,
right,
yeah.
I'm just gonna draw on it, okay? So you
Yeah.
guys can see the drawing.
Very
All right, so singing. I've been, you know, the voice is like very important, and I started doing this 10-minute vocal warm up. It's just a vocal warm up, and I was so bad at it in the beginning. I still do it in my roommate's Mercedes in the garage in the back seat. So bad at it, but I kept doing it. I was like, I'm gonna do this thing repeatedly. Every single day. I'm gonna do this 10 minutes in the car. And I did. And then something started happening. I started being able to hear like the key that she's singing in, and then be able to do it and sound the way that she sounds, the way that I'm hearing it, or the way that the piano, the same key that the piano is hitting. And so I started like learning about my voice, because I knew like I must be able to sing. Like I went to church and stuff. Like I must be able to do this.
I went to church. I don't have any illusion that I can sing,
Yeah.
but I've never practiced trying to be able to sing. So maybe I can. Probably not though.
Even if you couldn't sing, you might be able to find a little bit more depth to your voice.
True. So I
Oh,
guess there's something like
you guys need to be doing vocal shit for sure.
That's what I'm thinking, because like that did sound like something I would like to do. Because
I'll airdrop it to you right now.
that'd be cool.
Do you
I
have
don't
an
have
No,
Yeah.
you're never gonna know.
Yeah.
How about you? You have an iPhone.
I have my phone, yeah.
Get one.
So, interestingly enough, earlier this week I was listening to a podcast and I heard what it was Frank Sinatra's like vocal warm up was, and he learned it from Nancy Reagan. It was he would eat an
Don't do
apple.
drugs.
Well, yeah,
Nancy Reagan. Go ahead.
but it was like he would eat an apple and wait an hour and make himself throw up, and that's how he got that like bit of graveliness to his voice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a real thing?
That's what I heard. It could be a lie. I don't know.
Kev could have just made that shit up right
No,
now.
no, I didn't make it up. So I heard somebody else make it up.
I mean, I guess because he wanted that like smoky
To destroy your, vocal cords a little bit.
Right. I want to sound like I'm in pain when I'm singing.
No.
I don't know.
So you're a singer too? Or you want to be a singer? Or you want to be able to...
I think you're just using like song to deepen your vocal range. Kind of like what is the point of the singing?
Yeah. So, I suppose the initial reason was just because like my body, my voice is the thing that I'm using to like create sound and vibration, right? And in order for my voice to reflect in the fullest way just what I'm experiencing in that moment, and that's like one of the things that acting really is about, is like truly experiencing what's happening, in that moment. And so that was like the initial reason, is like I believe that I believe what I'm reading, and what I'm reading is that's an important thing, and that makes total sense to me. So the way to do that is through, singing, through singing lessons, learning how to sing, and expanding basically your range. And so I happen to, like, the universe provides, man. Like, I happen to be talking about this to my friend Max Orland, and he's like, well, my brother is was a vocal coach on American Idol for like 10 years, right? And he like lives in LA. And I'm like, yeah, kind of like I feel like I knew that, and he works with a lot of people, but we never really talked about it, that much. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to send my brother a message and you should take lessons with him. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Like, Max is like very invested in my success. He like believes in like what I'm doing, and like he's like, yeah, it's really cool. He's really supportive. And so got connected with Michael, and finally, again, just like the improv, put it off. I put it off and I put it off, and then I finally was just like, Tone, what are you doing? Make the call, send him a message. He's amazing. He's like such a refreshing, awesome human. It's like the person that you would want to learn singing from, because it's such a vulnerable thing. And so I went one time, and then I didn't go back for a while, like probably 4 months. And then I went back again, and I was horrible. It was like I was worse than the first time I went. And then he airdropped me this vocal warm up, which I would imagine is probably like super legit. It's probably the person on there doing it is probably like this really like legendary, well-known person, I would imagine. She's like this older woman. She sounds very professional, but also like, I've been in the game. And so that, like, going back to him and being that bad, and then him giving me a tool that like, okay, you can do this. Here's the thing that you need so that when you come back, you're better. So you have something to work with. And I've just been working it, and it worked. It paid off. And like, I cannot sing right now because like last night I was singing really loudly, and I was singing in the car a little bit. And like, I like to sing. Singing is like, it's such a nice way to like feel you, to be you, to like own your you, to like go into the world and not feel like you need to dull it down a little bit because everyone else has dulled theirs down, to be the example, and like to be like, hey, hi, human, hey, how's it going? And they're like, whoa, wait a minute. Are you fucking with me? No, you're not fucking with me? Okay, hey, nice. Yeah. Hi, friend, and so the voice is, and the voice connects is the body. It's the body. It's the, the body and mind.
You're exercising a part of you, and then you got better.
I got better, and I started being able to do stuff, and like my core is pretty strong, so I was able to like really kind of push it and hold it, and I'm like, oh, okay. So am I a singer? Maybe. I hope that one day maybe I can be a singer. Yeah, because I want to do Broadway. I want to do a play on Broadway, like really bad. Like the next big thing for me is like I want to do a play so bad. Not even on Broadway. Like I don't care where it is. I don't care where it is. I'm going to do a play, like a good play, with a good director and a good cast, and like be able to work that for 6 weeks, 3 weeks, and then like open. And then just like every night get a chance to relive this shit in a new and a live way. Like, oh, that is the fucking dream, man. And I'm going to do it. And I'm very excited about it. It's just, everything takes time because it's a build. Like I'm working my craft currently, and working the studio that I'm at, and the person that I'm working with it's the truth. It's, I'm in the right place, doing the right things, and that's really exciting.
So
keep closing this, like, let's wrap up that chapter.
So I think that's you got some goals there, and it's always good to, I think, say it out loud, kind of get that energy into the universe a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that's a good you have that's as your next goal. So I think let's go back to you're going to Chicago with the thought of the goal is to pursue acting in Chicago as a layover before you get to LA.
Yeah. So I'm at this company. MRP. And what had happened leading up to this day that occurred is that really sweet ass view and that desk, it was swindled from me in a flurry of, oh, well, things are changing and we're moving people next to this. And I'm like, who authorized this? Right. It's like, oh, I don't know, because I just know that like this guy and that person. And it's like, they're pulling a quick one. And I let it work. I'm like, I should have just not moved, but I did. Anyway, so I moved, I lost my seat. And I end up with a horrible seat across from this unpleasant person that's picking their nose all day. And I'm just like miserable. Anyway, on this day, I decided I'm taking my seat back. So I get in early in the morning.
Nobody puts Ray in the corner.
Nobody takes Ray out of his sick ass executive corner. And I move all the shit back. And he comes in. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, hey, no, I'm just working. And he freaks out and he goes to HR and he's like, you moved, you touched my things. You touched my personal things, man. Like this is, so we go into HR and I'm like, look, you know, this desk was never supposed to be moved. And I'm just taking it back. I took it back and whatever. And like, did I break some rules? Whatever. I don't know. I don't care. But I took my desk back. And like I said, again, the culture of this, it's like, it seemed like things were coming to a head anyway. So, you know, the new sales manager, pretty new guy, Tom, if you're out there, I know you're listening, Tom. I know you hear this right now. And listen, no hard feelings. It's all good. But come on, man. Like you needed to get your house in order, and you know it. And you were probably distracted at the time because life is complicated. But anyway, here we are. And also thank you, Tom and Kristen and MRP and Kevin Cunningham, for the opportunity to be at MRP, because truly this was the inflection point, which is why I'm telling you right now. Mm-hmm. Basically, they had an extraordinary HR person, and he was like, yeah, look, like, I think we got to let you go. He's like, Tom wants to let you go. And I'm like, that's fine. You know, Tom comes in and I'm like, look, you know, I'm basically breaking it all down. I'm like, I've been ramping up for the past 7 months, and I'm really good at this, and I've contributed in all these ways. And it seems unwise to let me go, an asset that's been developing. And he goes, if you're trying to save your job, you know, it's not going to, I don't want to save my job. This has nothing to do with my job. My reputation, that's important. He's like, all right. And I'm like, cool. So he leaves. HR guy, it's just me and him. He's like, look, we got you. It's going to be like unemployment. It's cool. I'll give you the best, like, we'll give you like glowing reviews and recommendations. So like, you let me know. And he's like, honestly, I'm thinking about making a move anyway as well. I'm like, cool. So I knew that I was going to have, unemployment. And I think I negotiated because this girl had started a rumor about me and opioids. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who's opioids?
Because I had broken my leg, or I had broken my ankle. Remember?
Yeah.
In our game.
I wrestled you.
She told people that my leg, number one, that my injury didn't occur. And she's telling people this. My boss told me that she told this to my boss. That I didn't break my leg, that I was faking it so I could get opioids. I was prescribed painkillers, I think twice, for a total of like maybe 8 total. I took Tylenol and White Russians for my healing. Okay.
Never liked a White Russian.
I love them.
Oh, the milk.
They're delicious.
God.
But you'll be
It's a
throwing up white
chocolate
stuff.
milk drink.
Yeah.
It's amazing. If you're 21 or over. And so, you know, like I've never abused opioids in my life.
Have you abused White Russians?
Definitely.
3 of them.
In
outside
more
of
ways than
Sixers
one.
games.
All right. And so anyway, I'm like, this is a problem. And he's like, look, here's the deal. We made a deal. And I got about a month of like pay as well. It's like, we'll make your layoff date later on. And then, you know, start the paperwork, get the unemployment. I'm like, cool, man. This is probably like, it was like a parachute. It was nice.
But also, couldn't you just brought in the fucking X-ray and been like, "Hey, bitch"?
Yeah, but I just didn't give a fuck
Well,
about her,
yeah,
man.
Point being, but yeah, I understand that.
It's like, you're not worth any of my like neuronal energy,
Yeah.
you know? And so that may have been a stupid statement. Neuronal energy, is that a thing? Anyway,
I think
Sounds cool.
we were on
sounded
board
like
with
it,
it.
right?
Yeah,
We knew what you meant.
yeah. And so yeah, man. So then I had gotten my own place in Fairmount. So I was had my own place, and I had started going. I hadn't been back to acting class in a while, and I'm there with a broken leg, no job again, but a good amount of cash.
Nice little severance.
Nice little severance. And I'm thinking, what's next? What's the move? It's time for LA. So I start talking to people.
Just like that. Just like, all right, you know what?
I'm doing.
Might as well be in the place.
At this point, dude, like I called off my wedding. I'm Freebird. I got no roots. And there are upsides and downsides to not having those roots. Like, it's very lonely. It's a lonely road. And you have to get your kicks and your love where you can get it, you know? And you got to take care of yourself. And that's why you got to, like, you know, keep your loved ones close, like keep your family close, stay involved, stay interested in their world and in their lives. And like, I'm not very good at that. And, I called my cousin Joey. The next day was Memorial Day. And so I'm at my sister's house and I'm like, I'm going to LA. She's like, that's awesome. You've been talking about it forever. Did you hear that Zach and Joey broke up? And Zach and Joey, my cousin in Chicago, Joey, and his longtime partner, Zach, of 9 years.
Okay, damn.
They had a place together. Like, they ended their relationship, and Joey was in shambles. I mean, so heartbroken. And so I'm like, ooh, thank you, universe. Joey's going to come to LA with me. So I call him, hey, Joe, I'm going to LA. Come with me. He's like, what? I'm like, I'm going, man. I'm sorry to hear about you and Zach. Let's just go start over. We've always talked about taking a trip together, living together. He's like, I have a better idea. Why don't you come to Chicago? And my friend Corinne here, she works at Casting Networks. She's pretty high up at Casting Networks. She can guide you and help you kind of prepare before you go to LA. Do you have a second? Can you talk to her? Yeah, put her on. Hey, Tony, Joey says you're amazing. And if Joey loves you, then I love you and your family. And I can't wait to meet you. And we're so excited. Do you have an agent? Are you SAG? No and no. Okay, come to Chicago. We're going to take care of you. We're going to get you on the right track. I'm going to tell you which classes you should be in. We're going to get you. Are you on Casting Networks? No. Okay, we're going to get you on Casting Networks. Cool. This was Memorial Day. When is Memorial Day?
May 20.
Yeah, end of May.
It was Labor Day. When is Labor Day?
September.
Beginning of September.
This is the beginning of September. By October 15th, I had my apartment sub-rented, and I was on a first-class flight The only first class flight I've ever taken, but it was like so symbolic to me. And I had a little bit of cash at the time. I was like, I'm going to do it. To Chicago, where I was taking over the lease. I was subletting and moving in with my cousin Joey. Yep.
Okay. But I thought, because you have a motorcycle, so I thought you drove the motorcycle out to Chicago.
That's later on.
Okay. So that's, you came back to collect the motorcycle.
Of course he has a motorcycle.
Yeah. Look at him.
Yeah.
Handsome devil
Is
like that.
freaking cooler than a dude on a motorcycle?
No.
Yeah.
A person on a motorcycle.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I started studying long form improv at the I.O. Theater. Okay. The I.O. Theater is the birthplace of long form improv, or at least the guy who wrote the book, Truth in Comedy, Del Close, founded I.O. Theater. And the talent that ended up at, where were the SNL people?
Second City.
The talent that ended up at Second City started at I.O. Theater and took it. Jim Belushi, all those guys, Chevy Chase, all of them. Their foundation was I.O. Theater and Del Close and Charna Halpern.
Yeah, sure.
Charna, the two of them. And so I started studying long form improv there, 101, the basics. And they spend an entire semester on a quarter, the first quarter of what the Philly Improv Theater covers. Like the Philly Improv Theater is like 101, here's like a really big overview of improv. I want you to get a taste of like the main components. At I.O. Theater, they're like 101, we're going to work on these first two components. And that's all. And that's why they're so great. Because any greatness only happens incrementally and consistently. That's like the only way.
Yeah, you got to put the work in and understand the steps that get you there.
Yeah. And then I started Corinne also recommended a commercial audition class in Chicago at the Vagabond School of the Arts. And, a lot of like sort of Chicago Med, Chicago PD, and a lot of like national commercial talent, like were teaching at this school or like students at this school. So like she has me in all of the right places. And so I'm doing all of that. I'm working hard. I'm only focused because I have unemployment. So I'm only focused on my art. And for the first time in my life, I allow myself to call myself an artist and to be an artist and to go like, that's what I'm doing.
And this is now pandemic 2020 where we get a couple of checks of Donnie bucks. So you get a
couple of those. Yep.
So you get a little influx there too.
People were like, this pandemic's horrible. I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I mean, it was perfect timing. And I got to write 2 scripts, like 2 of them. Neither one are finished, but the one, Wandering John, it's finished in my head, but it needs more work. And I would love to take a week, go to a cabin and finish that shit. Honestly, no electricity, just like hot water, maybe, also, even 30 seconds of a cold shower at the end of your shower this is data driven, dramatic impacts on your health and your energy, depression, your sleep schedule, dramatic, your immune system. 30 seconds. You want the shock. You want to cool your body so that your body has to warm itself. And in this warming process, there is significant health benefits. And I do this shit and I'm telling you, it fucking works. That was a side note. Also, shivering promotes the burning of brown fat. That's the fat that everybody wants to get rid of. So if you can do...
I was just saying, I think I only got white fat, but...
If you can do 3 minutes and then get in front of a fan or just shiver for a while, or just go outside in your goddamn underwear when it's cold and shiver, and then go inside and then allow your body to warm itself because it does, that shivering process starts this whole brown fat burning process in your body where it's just happening for free. No diets, no nothing. It's just the new mechanism that your body is using because of that shivering process.
Dang.
It's cool.
Also, don't get hypothermia.
Yeah, right.
Don't get hypothermia.
Go get cold though.
Only
I
do
guess.
like up to 4 minutes, I think, is the thing. There are different protocols. Check
We're
out
not
the
doctors.
Huberman Lab podcast. Yeah.
So what it is? All right.
Alright. And you're not just when you're in Chicago. You're doing all of this, the groundwork with these classes and all of that. But you didn't. It wasn't just like, you filmed a couple of things. Like
Yeah.
you had a pilot that recently just came out. So there was like not only were you getting this groundwork of this basis of what you need to achieve your dream, you're actually taking some significant, some like
Going for it.
some real steps of like I did something. Like I noted, like you have in your hand, like this is what I did, and I used my time on there.
Yeah. I had submitted for this this small short project called Wanderer's Game. And this character is walking into a male escort's apartment, and he's introducing himself, and he reveals that his wife thinks that he's at the movies with his brother. And then they proceed to go into the bedroom and do an exchange of sex or services, right? We didn't do the sex scene, although like that was initially in the production plan, like a dark room, like sort of artistic thing. It wasn't going to be like I have to have sex with a man.
Full penetration.
Right.
That's when
but-
you're like, hold on, what is this being filmed for?
But here's the thing. I went to New York City. Like I left my parents' basement in Northeast Philly, got on a train, went to New York City, walked into the heart of Broadway, up these little steps, in an elevator, into this little room, and fucking transformed for about 30 seconds. Because I had found the thing that connected me to this character. I found my pain and I brought it in. And I stayed focused, and I'm like, you're a fucking artist. You have something to give here. Go let them see it. And if they don't like it, who the fuck cares? Because that's all I got. And I did. And I booked that motherfucker. And that was the first real thing that I went in. They didn't know me. They had lots of friends, lots of people that could play this character. They auditioned lots of people. There's no reason for them to choose me other than the work that I did when I went in there.
You gave them a reason.
I gave them a reason. And that was that was really big for me. That was like a first thing where it's like, all right, so I can do it. Good. Now let's move on. So, yeah, the next thing that I that I booked was a pilot called Engaged, the series in Chicago.
And did I see correctly? Did that get picked up? Are you? Is that no? It's not moving forward.
No, that's moving forward. So, well, interesting side note about that. They wanted me to move me to more of a lead character, right? Because they're like basically reshooting it, and I would have to leave LA, leave my acting classes, my singing classes, my dance classes, my life, my bartending gig, my house, just all of it for 10 days, go to Chicago and do this filming. 5 of those days would be filming. And I said, look, I must be paid for my craft. I'm taking this time. I'm leaving LA. I'm going to Chicago.
Yeah, you gotta
I have to be
travel.
paid. Because I invest a lot of money into my classes and my craft. And he said, give me until Friday and then decided either they don't have the money or they're not going to pay the money. So that's fine. Like, that's okay, because now I'm not disrupting my very important process and staying consistent for something where it's like, I don't even know if you have your shit together and you want me to do it for free. And like, sorry, you just want a different caliber guy. If you want me, you're going to pay.
It's not an internship here.
Right.
This is a job.
Yeah. This is this is a year later. And this is a year after a fuckload of growth in my acting. Because once I discovered the Howard Fine Studio and Uta Hagen's A Challenge for the Actor, I found an infinite amount of the knowledge that I need. There's no end to like what I can learn, and like the way that I always thought about acting, but I never heard anyone talking about it the way I thought about it until during the pandemic. I'm watching a cast. Sorry, I'm pointing at you. During the pandemic,
I didn't do shit to you, man.
During the pandemic,
I didn't even say I want to fight somebody.
During the pandemic, because I was following casting networks on Instagram, because Corinne was at Casting Networks, and now I had a profile on Casting Networks, which is where the pilot audition came from. The first pilot audition, not the one in LA. That's a different one that I'm really excited about.
Okay.
Fuck, what was I just saying?
You found infinite knowledge.
Uta Hagen's book, and
because your
growth as an actor.
Because of Corinne and Casting Networks, I started following them on Instagram, and then they were interviewing Howard Fine on an Instagram Live, and I watched it, and I'm like, this guy is talking about acting the way that I've always thought about it. I was hooked instantly, and I was like, yeah, sign up for whatever. So I signed up for like a workshop. It was like $40. And it was amazing. And I'm like, when I go to Los Angeles, I want to be at this studio. And it felt like such an insane goal. Like, really, Tone? You think you're just gonna be an actor at this studio in Hollywood? And I have very good relationships with both of those guys, and like, they are my acting coaches, and they work with people that you see on a daily basis. And it's really, really cool.
So Corinne's pretty awesome then, huh? She's been helping you out a lot.
Corinne's amazing.
She's like a talent.
She's more
through the process.
She runs the casting couch.
No, she doesn't even do casting. Casting people have good relationships with her because ultimately she is managing the pool of talent that is on Casting Networks. So
She's
like,
the funneler.
yeah. So like, it would be her and her team that, like, I don't know, that the casting people, you know, if there's a problem, like customer support and things like that, or like, we want to be able to really drill down into like these like really specific, guidelines for casting, whatever. They just, over time, I suppose, just working with each other, they just get to know each other very well, and she knows the business. That's why she ended up at Casting Networks, because she was doing other aspects of the business, maybe casting herself, quite possibly. Mm-hmm. But once I left Chicago and the pandemic happened, and like that just put, a stop to everything. I haven't really talked to Corinne very much lately, but she played a really, really supportive and important role. And Corinne, thank you. You are one of my angels.
That's
and
what
there
I was
are a lot
getting at.
of them.
You've got these stepping stones, and it sounds like she was one of them.
She was one of them.
And she guided you through the process.
She was.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, she demystified, and I had a lot of questions, and she really helped me understand them. Yeah, and sort of because like, you have to be responsible for your administrative shit as an actor, and that's hard. That's one of the biggest things that people don't do consistently, that even I don't do consistently. Like, my website is out of date. My headshots are out of date. My resume is up to date, I think.
Do you have one with you?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
There you go.
On my Remarkable. I'd be happy to email it to you. But you know, being on top of it, because there are so many there are good projects out there and opportunities for you to just like submit a tape for. Like they're like, here are the sides. The sides are the portion of script that you're going to be doing the audition on. Here are the sides. Submit something. And as long as you have like a decent profile and something of a reel, which is like a series of, you know, little clips of your work, like they're going to give you an opportunity to submit something. And you have to do that all the time. And like for me, it's like I need to be doing that, but also I use the justification that I am really busy focused on these two different roles that I'm working on with like one of the best acting coaches in Hollywood. And so it's like, and I just transitioned from like wedding security over into wedding bartending. And so it's been busy, but it is that time where I need to go get a couple fish for myself because I'm ready for them. So it's time for me to like get back on casting networks. And I think the other one is I want to say it's called Backstage something. This is how much I've been kind of out of it a little bit. But it's about that time to do that. Maybe even put myself in front of agents. Like there's not a good reason for me to not have an agent anymore. It is that time.
If you get on The Last Kingdom or the new Game of Thrones, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. I'm starting to feel a little bit of Game of Thrones in my universe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool for sure.
That would be really
House
cool.
of the Dragon.
That would be that, and that's accent work, right?
Well, The
So-
Last Kingdom.
I don't
I
think
feel like they just throw, like, a lot of them I think are probably from different countries, but I feel like they just throw anything.
Game of Thrones I didn't think was like accent, where it was just like people, it was goofy because like some people had accents and others didn't. You're like, yo, what's this?
Yeah, I don't even know if they cast out of North America.
Oh,
Truly. So we'll see.
Did
we'll
you
see.
ever watch The Last Kingdom? It's pretty good.
Did
on
I
Netflix.
watch The Last Kingdom?
Yeah.
No.
Uhtred, son
wait.
of Uhtred. It's like Vikings. It's like not kind of like
No,
Vikings,
no, I don't think I've seen it.
All right. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
5
watch
seasons.
it. I will
5
watch
seasons. Uhtred, son of Uhtred's pretty good.
it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. You don't watch The Last Kingdom?
No,
All right.
no, I don't.
All right. Well, that's what I'm doing instead of Always Sunny.
Well, that's wrong.
That and Vikings Valhalla. Finished that. Banged it out.
I almost started watching that the other day,
It
but
was good. I didn't even finish the original Vikings, but Valhalla, one season, boom.
You were hooked.
It was good.
It's called Valhalla.
Vikings Valhalla.
Vikings Valhalla.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
which, if I have my choice of like heavens to go to, if there's a difference,
Sounds pretty awesome.
Valhalla sounds like the best heaven to be
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Like,
Every day you fight and then
It's like
drink and then fight.
fight and then party and then
Yeah.
wake up and fight and then party.
They had it going pretty good. Yeah.
Right? Like that sounds
Yeah.
like a pretty solid like
Can't
heaven
get people
to
to
be at.
do anything but fight, which you need them to build shit and, create society, but
No, but you're in heaven. Like it's all done. Like when you're done fighting, you just go to the ballroom and party, and
Yeah,
then you
but to
get
get-
drunk and pass out.
yeah, but to get
Yeah.
people to build cities, you can't just, that's not a really good, building blocks of building a society.
Yeah,
Like,
well, Vikings weren't out there building things;
Yeah.
they were killing people.
exactly. That's why you had to change them all to Christianity.
Yeah.
They're too busy doing mushrooms and murder.
Is that what happened to the Vikings? They converted them to Christianity?
Well, in Vikings Valhalla, that's part of the plot, and same thing with the Last Kingdom.
I'm
You
sure
start turning out the Vikings.
I'm sure at a certain point the Romans marched up there and gave them the what for.
I think it was after the Romans.
So
But
much
anyway, they,
world history.
Yeah, they you got to get them to do shit. You can't. You eventually settle down and become farmers.
No,
and
it's
then
like
the new barbarians come through
no,
and
but
fuck
let's
your
see
shit
that.
up.
I don't know
Yep,
if you have to.
yep.
It's like the Spartans in Greece. Like
Yeah, we saw what happened to them.
yeah, but they were getting all their stuff. They were just going over to
What
like
happened?
Athens
Why-
and
why
like
did
beating
Rome-
the shit out of the nerds and taking their stuff.
Yeah. Why did Rome go down?
Corruption.
Corruption.
Everything gets corrupted. Like I said.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you give one person ultimate power and then he doesn't relinquish it. And
What are they saying? Right? Like people's
Absolute
big thing
power.
Is,
Absolute power corrupts.
Strong
Absolutely.
men make good times make weak men make bad times.
Yeah, I mean, isn't this why we all just need like good times and bad times? Like we just need to just have the natural oscillation of good and bad.
Yeah, you need day for light, or you need light for
Yeah,
darkness.
right. Without sadness, and misery, we would not know joy.
How could you know bliss and happiness?
You couldn't. It would just be the same all the time.
That sounds pretty terrible.
And that sounds pretty sad. So even it's built in, the mechanism is built in, because then you start getting sad and then you appreciate when you were happy.
It's funny, like every culture has it, snake eating itself, or yin and yang, and everybody's figured it out. It's just each generation has to figure it out each person has to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, and our society doesn't have a lot of reminders. You know, we have the opposite. No. It's busy. It's go, 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 go. More. New. Order.
Which might be
we're not connecting as much
Romans,
anymore. You know? Well, we're kind of on that path, right? Maybe we're losing it. There's a lot of, it's a crazy time in American history.
I went through a long period of my 20s where I was working a shitty job and I was watching everything on YouTube, and I had this real, I don't want to say anti-American, but anti-government time period where I was just like, man, they're doing all this fucking shit. We're fucking around the world. We're messing up everybody's lives.
When was this? Well, what year?
2000, probably 6-ish to finally got out of there like 2012 or something.
Yeah, Iraq, Afghanistan, 2006.
Yeah,
Did you watch Zeitgeist?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched Zeitgeist.
Yeah,
with
my
man, what the hell is his name? Weird name.
I don't know the guy's name.
Oh, damn. He was a real creepy. He was a real
Alex Jones.
No, cult leader. Well, I did watch a little bit of InfoWars, but
right. And you know, I
turned the frogs gay.
Yeah.
I fell into the rabbit hole for a minute. I did. I was in the hole. And it's like the conclusion I came to, and it turns out Alex Jones. I mean, like seeing him nowadays, I'm like, man, was that like your deal all along? Like. It was always just self-service, and hype.
Yeah.
And like, was it a crazy time, in the financial marketplace, like the global financial marketplace? Like, did we avoid a catastrophe? Yes, we did. Did we give a pass to like one of the biggest corruptions in American history? Like, yeah, we did. Did we like? Send people to jail? Like, not really. We put some new rules in place that like an executive order could probably roll back pretty easily. And if Obama, Bernanke, and the Senate, the Republican Senate leader at the time, if those three guys didn't get together and do what they did, there would have been a collapse in the global financial market. But now you have then you had Alex Jones finding an opportunity and stoking the fire and going, they're coming for you. They're coming for your rights. They're coming for your guns. What would he say? Martial law is coming for you. And if you don't protect yourself, they, and the Illuminati, and they're organized, and we got to get organized. It's like he's just, he would hype it up, right? Like, so like, I'm feeling like already, like what do we do? Like, do I load my gun now? Yeah. Or like, or just board up the windows? So.
Well, I was feeling like what these kids are feeling now with the Black Bloc and like the Antifa guys. But then you realize, coming out of that, what I came to the conclusion was, all right, there's corruption everywhere. But somebody's got to be at the king. This is a game of King of the Hill. Right now, America is King of the Hill. And I think we're probably doing it the best. We probably don't want Russia to be King of the Hill. We definitely don't want China to be King of the Hill, right? So you got to do fucked up shit.
There's a lot less representation of the people
in governments,
in those two governments, because it's a shame because you associate those governments with communism, right? And communism has become like a really bad word since the Cold War. Communism is bad. There are a lot of different versions of the idea of communism. National healthcare in Canada is one of them. Not having to pay for college, is one of them.
That's socialism, not
maybe
communism.
Socialism, right? Because I watched this NYU debate between two scholars. one for socialism. I think it was socialism, not communism. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, here I am. I'm like, listen, guys.
Oh, sickle and
Let's burn a flag, you know. Like, but socialism,
some good
yes.
ideas. Karl Marx.
Yeah,
But Karl Marx apparently had some good ideas.
I'm sure. I'm sure all people that think really long and hard about
Yeah.
ideas probably have some good points.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, there was this debate, and honestly, like the guy for socialism, like he won the debate. Like the guy for capitalism was basically like, look, everything is better and you can't deny that. And if you want to go try this other method, like have fun, but like we're capitalism and we're here to stay. And we have lots of data that shows, you know, when there's, you know, we bring democracy, you know, it's used as a mechanism through which democracy is brought, and that's a part of the package and the deal. And this is like Thatcherism and this like Reaganism thing spreading this. I don't know what the right answer is.
It's a mix. The right
It's
answer
a
is
balance, like
and mix,
anything,
just
right?
like anything else.
Yeah.
Anybody that's too much for one side, it's like, well, probably don't follow that guy.
Right. Anyone
Try-
that's too
try to take the
extreme.
best, yeah. And that's all you hear is from extremists, right?
But yeah, and that's one of the problems with the two-party system. You end up having to be the you know, it's like you're rewarded for being the most extreme because your competitors within that same wing, they can have that advantage like over you. It's like how.
Well, that's the
like
genius thing
drawback
about
with that.
paying for people's campaigns. You pay for the guy that's the most left, and then the way to get that guy even more left is to endorse
Pay
the
the
next
guy
guy
that's all the way
going
to the right.
Well, to get that guy that's even crazier, more left. So you're pushing it the goalpost each time. So you've got all these people that are left or right, and you're like, all right, we're gonna back the guy that's the most left or right, and then that guy gets in there, and you're like, all right, we're gonna pay the guys even more right or left of that guy. And that's how you keep pushing the goalposts, and that's how you create this huge separation in this country.
Polarization.
Yeah, it's great.
You know,
for rich people.
Yeah, well, that's what.
Yeah.
If we're all arguing with ourselves, we're not arguing about the fact that these rich people are siphoning money away from the general public.
Yeah. I wrote a paper in college called The Apposite American Dream. I thought it was a good word. I used a thesaurus.
The apposite?
Apposite, not opposite, apposite.
And what's that mean?
I believe it means like a perversion of an idea.
Okay.
Perhaps I could be wrong. It was a while ago, but basically, what I was like, you know, we're so the will of the American people is a Goliath. We know this. I mean, World War II, we're a Goliath when we're united with our will. But when we're not, we're so busy fighting with each other and being separated because either you're left or you're right. And there are so many issues. Like there's like 14,000 issues that you care about. Like specific questions I can ask you that are encompassed in just like that one bucket on the left. And all we need are like to stoke 3 or 4 of them where the other side, they don't agree with you, or if they agree with you on that, but on something else that you're behind because you're in that bucket, you know, and you just don't hear each other, and the Goliath stays asleep. And the longer we sleep, you know, the deeper the slumber gets. And I'm not saying like we have to rise up and do anything violent. It's like the beauty of democracy is we can take action at the polls. Like you can, and you can care more about, you can, you know, what you can really do, like what we can all do is just first seek to understand the other side.
Well, and you can see it from
and then they open up, and then they want to understand you. When you give that to someone, they give it right back every time.
And you can see in the most recent 2 elections, like 2016 and 2020, is 2016 was the record for the most people to get out and vote, and then it was broken in 2020 for at least presidential election to be like, and you love him, hate him, whichever side you're on of Biden or Trump or whatever it might, whoever you're backing, the fact that just more people are out and being like, no, I'm going to make my vote matter is the trend, which is a good thing to see. Whereas I think it was something I saw that France in the past 10 years, I forget how recent it was, but at their presidential election, they had the lowest turnout rate they've ever had was 70% of their population, which would have been the highest by like double for an American election like turnout. So to like something like that, where you're seeing the people that are like, no, I'm going to use my vote, whether now you can get into
Did they use it correctly or
well,
not?
no, not even that. I was going to say you get into
Rhetoric.
no, how I forget what it's called, where you're chopping up the counties in a way.
Oh.
Redlining.
Yeah.
No, not redlining. That's where you're like not letting black people move into white neighborhoods. That was redlining.
District.
It's a concept that applies both to real estate. It's a geographical concept.
But there's a specific thing for voting blocks where it's like, oh, we're gonna
redistricting.
Kind of, but there's a specific term that I'm losing it right now.
I think it's redistricting. Like, but there's another term there. I get what he's saying.
But it's like, okay. So you like maybe you're Democratic, but where you live, the voting structure is set up that you go to one place, but the people across the street go to a different place to vote, so that now your Democratic vote doesn't matter in this area because there's mostly Republicans.
Which is crazy to think about. Like, how could that possibly be when there's so many different people? People don't choose to live in a red or blue area. It's like
gerrymandering is the term.
Gerrymandering, Kevin, you're so intelligent.
I had to Google it. Google is intelligent.
Google it? What is it?
We'll break
back again. All right, so we'll just take you back to. We're about to wrap this up, but taking you back to you're in Chicago.
I'm in Chicago.
Yeah,
I'm in Chicago.
What was the impetus to like? Don't give us like going to LA, but like what was it that made the light bulb hit that was like, now it's time to make the move?
Yeah. So there's the pandemic and I'm writing and I'm just Joey is starting to talk about renewing the lease or like what he's going to do next. And I'm like, he's like, just stay. Like, it's just been the pandemic. You haven't gotten to do anything in Chicago. I mean, everything was closed. Everything. I mean, I could ride my bike 10 minutes and be at the field.
Hey, you could go out to Subway in the middle of the night to get a sandwich in a blizzard.
Yeah, right.
Jussie Smollett was.
Right, yeah. And so
he's going to be an actor. You can't just throw people under the bus.
And
that dude's out of acting.
I was like, no, I have to go to LA, man. Like that was always the plan. It was, okay, I will go to Chicago, but it's a stepping stone. And it is the right stepping stone. And the universe was like, hey, this is your stepping stone. And Joey, we kind of both needed each other a little bit, and it was really good. And I was like, no, man, I'm going. You need to come with me. And he's like, I'm not going. I'm going to double down. He ended up buying a place. So I'm thinking, okay, it's July. It's June. It's June. And I'm like, fuck, okay, I'm not staying in Chicago. That means the lease is up in August. I don't have a place to live in Los Angeles. Do I even have the money? I don't have a car. How am I going to get around down there? I'm going to need a motorcycle. And I always, my idea was always, I'm going to ride. My plan was buy a motorcycle in Vegas. Buy a motorcycle in Vegas, take a flight to Vegas, ride from Vegas to LA. Super cool. All of the motorcycles in Vegas are like $6,000 or $7,000. Like you can't really buy like, I don't know. I didn't find it. I didn't find a cheap one. And I start looking at places on Craigslist, and I start the process that everyone that moves to Los Angeles has to go through, and that is realizing there's nowhere to live and that you don't have enough money and you can't afford it and no one likes you and no one's going to help you. And the people that are there, for the exception of me, because I've tried to help like 2 people come out. Like very few people are going to help you out. Like you need someone that cares about you that's out there, because doing it from nothing, it's really tough. And so, I was like, I meditated. Dude, I'm telling you, it's like, do a little meditation and then, get yourself a little bit aroused.
All right.
And then think as clearly as you can. Picture that thing as clearly as you can that you want to happen. Picture it happening, the details. Get really granular as you can, and hold it for as long as you can. And then, let it go. And that's what I did. And like 2 days later, I'm sitting there like in my office space, like I got crazy shit all over the walls, like, written, it's literally 75, 80 Post-it notes, different colors.
Affirmations, notes on this, notes
Not
on
even
that.
affirmations.
No?
No, just everything related to what's happening in 2 different scripts.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, there's got to be a better way to get a motorcycle. And then it hits me. My buddy Dave, David Lee Hernandez, he bought this motorcycle a long time ago. It was in his garage. Do I have like cotton mouth? I'm hearing. It's like annoying. He's in his garage. Cotton mouth.
You're good.
And he stopped riding it. He bought it. He went down one time and he never rode it again. Brand new. He bought it brand new. So I text him, hey man, I'm going to LA. I'm riding a motorcycle. Sell me your motorcycle. Because if it's not going to be yours, it's going to be someone else's. And don't tell me that like you don't want to sell it to me because you're afraid that I'm going to die on your motorcycle, because I'm riding a motorcycle. So you are not responsible anymore. He goes, look, man, you know what? $500. It's yours.
Shit. Way better than 7,000.
Yeah, right.
So I go back to Philly, get on a flight. I'm like, I got to fix it up. He doesn't have the title. He doesn't have the key. And thus begins like 3 months of hell trying to get this thing running and get a clean title for it. I turn into a motorcycle guy. That becomes my identity, t-shirt and jeans and my riding sneakers and my jacket and my tools. And I'm like always doing something to like fix this bike or work on it. Finally got it all together. My cousin had packed up all of my shit in Chicago. It took me like a while, it was like August. And I was just like back in Philly, no place in Chicago anymore. No, and nowhere to live in LA, but I know that my motorcycle is starting to come together. So, doing some I'm just trying to get into my zone. I'm like trying to make some magic happen about where I'm going to live. And I had emailed the Howard Fine studio about, hey, when you guys open, how do I want to be in position to work in studio as an actor? How do I start to go about that? And it was this moment where the notifications on my laptop was a response from the Howard Fine studio and then a response from Howard Vermillion on this app that I was trying that was like, I was having no luck. Everything was a scam, called Roomster. Everything was a scam. And it was like Howard Fine Studio, Howard Vermillion. And I was like, I think something may have just happened. It felt like a moment. Opened it up. It's Howard Vermillion. the persons whose house I now basically like take care of have transitioned from junker to like the most amazing creative place that's now being bought by my roommate and friend and his family, and like I'm family, and we're all in, and we're just like gonna keep, and he's an actor, and it's like we're just gonna keep this amazing environment. We're gonna keep making it better and better and better. And Howard goes, I don't know if you can read, Anthony, but the ad says females only, so I guess that's your answer. And I'm like, this motherfucker. After the day that I've had 4 people try to steal money from me on this app. And I wanted to, I started typing out like, listen, you piece of shit moron. Like, I just wanted to be like,
Do you not like money?
Yeah.
Dumb fuck.
Like, you think it's easy to, you know, and I stopped myself, or something stopped me. And I'm like, that's not going to do anything for me. So I started over. Hey, okay. No, I get it. I didn't see, you know, that it was females only. There are just a lot of people that are like full of shit on here, and I'm just trying to find a good place. Sorry for bothering you. He responds, actually, hold on a minute. I got a good feeling about you. Let's talk a little more. We start talking. He rides a motorcycle. I'm about to ride my motorcycle cross country, which is like huge street cred in like motorcycle guy talk world. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm the lion. All right. I got my girls in Colombia, and they're my lionesses, and I'm the lion. I said, well, then call me Simba, baby. I'll hold it all down. He's like, you know, I only rent to women, but it'd be nice to have a guy around the house, you know, to protect the house. Do you have a firearm? Yes, I do. All right, good. So you're like security, house manager, $1,200 a month. I'm like, listen, man, I have a building and remodeling background. If you could do 1,000, I could do some work around the house. He basically says, look, take care of the yard and I'll rent it to you for 1,000 a month. I'm like, cool. So I start paying him in July, because I want to lock it in, or whenever, August. No, it's like July. And I knew that I had a place. So I start paying him, and I'm paying rent in Chicago. So like I'm paying rent at 2 places, just because like I know that I have a place to go, and he didn't even want money from me. He's like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, look, let me like send you something, because I need to know that I have this locked in. And that was the deal. I got there, and the women that he had been renting to were unstable.
Yep,
I think
we'll leave it right there.
Yeah, like
Really crazy roommates.
Like we'll leave it at that. Like your motorcycle's good. You got the room locked in.
Right.
You
Yes.
drive across
I'm in
country,
Chicago.
You're getting to LA, and we're running out of time.
And I'm about
so,
and so
next time you're home, or if we can figure out Zoom,
Yeah,
we're gonna
we'll see where we
we're gonna
were.
finish this story.
Yeah.
But
thank you for stopping me.
For right now, I think this is like you're on your way to LA, and that's a perfect place to leave this.
Yeah. Cool. Guys,
This was
gentlemen,
awesome. Thank you for coming in. This was Chris.
Thank
So
you.
great.
Thanks.
This is another episode of the Express Lane Podcast with
Kevin Stan and Anthony Handsome Ray.
Tony Ray.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Peace.